Your dog is sitting by the front door right now, not eating, not sleeping, not playing with anything, just sitting, waiting, staring at a door that hasn't moved in hours. And the question nobody wants to answer honestly is this: is that love, or is it just habit? Because the difference matters more than most people are comfortable admitting.
Humans desperately want animals to miss them. We talk to our pets before leaving. We feel guilty driving away. We check pet cameras from work. We come home and read every tail whack, every meow, every excited jump as proof. Proof that we were missed, that we mattered, that someone was counting the hours. But what if the animal sitting by that door isn't thinking about you at all? What if it's just waiting for the routine to continue? And what if the truth is stranger and more interesting than either of those answers? First, let's figure out what missing someone actually requires. Because missing isn't just feeling bad when something is gone. A dog doesn't miss its food bowl the way it might miss you. Missing needs 3 specific things. 1, the understanding that you still exist somewhere even when they can't see you. 2, a memory of you specifically, not humans in general, you. 3, a bond formed with you as an individual, not just anyone who fills the bowl. A dog that gets excited when any human walks in doesn't miss you. It likes humans. But a dog that waits specifically for you responds differently to your smell and behaves differently when you're gone versus when a stranger is gone. That dog has something much closer to what we'd call missing. So which animals actually have all 3? Let's start with dogs. Scientists put dogs inside MRI machines. They gave them different smells to process: owner smell, stranger smell, other dogs, food. Then they watched what the brain did. One area lit up more than anything else. Not for food, not for other dogs, for their person. Basically, the dog's brain was saying that one matters. That one is different from everything else. But it goes further than that. Researchers in Hungary took dogs and separated them from their owners for different amounts of time: 2 hours, 4 hours, longer. Then they watched what happened when the owner came back. The longer the owner had been gone, the more intense the greeting. Simple version, the dog knew how long you'd been away. It wasn't just happy a human returned. It was responding to how long that specific human had been missing. Something in that dog's experience was keeping track. But dogs were basically built for humans. 40,000 years of living together will do that. What about cats? Cats have a reputation, and honestly, they've earned some of it. But the science doesn't back up the full stereotype. Researchers ran an experiment. They took the same attachment test used in human babies and applied it to cats. Put the cat in a new room with its owner. Owner leaves. Owner comes back. 65% of cats showed secure attachment. When the owner returned, they relaxed, explored more, acted calmer. The owner's presence made the world feel safer. Not any human, their human. Now, cats don't sprint toward you or wag anything. They don't perform missing the way dogs do. A slow blink, a tail raised slightly, rubbing against your legs when you walk in. These aren't random. Here's something most people don't know. Adult cats almost never meow at each other. They meow at humans. They invented a language specifically for this relationship. Does a cat miss you the way a dog does? Probably not, but the idea that cats feel nothing when you leave, the science says that's wrong. Now here's where it gets genuinely strange, because birds might miss you in a way that's actually closer to how humans miss each other than almost any other animal. Parrots form pair bonds, one partner, sometimes for life. They share food. They call to each other using specific individual sounds, sounds meant for that one bird and no other. When those bonds break, when an owner disappears, when a bonded companion dies, many parrots fall apart. They stop eating. They pluck their own feathers. They call constantly into empty rooms. Vets who work with parrots see this regularly. They treat it seriously because it looks like grief, and it probably is. Then there's the memory side. African gray parrots can remember specific individuals for years. They recognize faces. They recall past interactions. There are documented cases of parrots holding grudges against specific people who mistreated them. Years later, same reaction, same hostility. Think about that.
If a parrot can remember an enemy for years, it almost certainly remembers the person it loves. Now, let's go somewhere nobody expects. Fish. You probably think fish feel nothing, 3-second memory, forgotten before you've left the room. Except that's a myth, and recent research revealed something that genuinely shocked scientists. In 2018, a fish called the cleaner wrasse passed a version of the mirror self-recognition test, the test designed to measure self-awareness, the test that dogs mostly fail. A fish passed it. More relevant to our question, archerfish were shown photographs of human faces, specific ones, then tested on whether they could identify those same faces when the images were altered. They could, accurately, consistently. That's individual recognition, one of the 3 things needed for missing someone. Does your goldfish miss you? Almost certainly not in any meaningful way, but the assumption that fish are too simple to recognize specific individuals probably wrong. Here's the part most people never think about. The question of whether animals miss you assumes they experience time the way you do. They almost certainly don't. Dog cognition researcher Alexandra Horowitz proposed something fascinating. Dogs may not experience time passing, they may smell it passing. Scent decays at a predictable rate. Your smell in a room gets weaker as hours go by. A dog walking into a room isn't checking a clock, it's reading a chemical timeline. Stronger smell means you left recently. Fainter smell means you've been gone longer, which means when your dog gets excited right before you come home, something owners report constantly, it may be because your scent has faded to exactly the level that, based on thousands of previous experiences, means you're about to walk through that door. The dog isn't psychic, it's reading time through its nose. That's not a lesser version of missing someone. That's a completely different and genuinely remarkable version of it. So, do animals miss you? Honest answer? Dogs almost certainly experience something shaped by your specific absence. Not the absence of a human, yours. The brain evidence says so. The behavior evidence says so. 40,000 years of evolution says so. Cats likely experience your absence as a disruption to something that genuinely matters to them. They just won't make it obvious. That's not indifference, that's cats. Parrots and highly social birds may experience something closest to what humans would actually recognize as longing, the absence of one specific individual they formed a real bond with. And across every species, the pattern is the same. The more social the animal, the more capable of individual attachment, the more something like missing becomes real. But here's what the science keeps coming back to. Animals don't miss the version of you that you think about when you think about yourself. They don't miss your name, your job, your history, your complicated inner life. They miss the creature that made them feel safe, the specific smell, the particular sound of your footsteps, the routine that meant warmth and food and security, the one being in their world whose presence made everything slightly less uncertain. Maybe that sounds like less than love. Or maybe that's exactly what love is, stripped of everything humans invented to complicate it. Your dog sitting by that door isn't thinking about you in words. It's just waiting for the world to make sense again. And when you walk through that door, for a few seconds at least, it does.